Okay, Chad Pergram, thank you. So is the president's agenda in trouble as a result of all of this? With us now, the Washington Examiner's Kaylee McGee, Democratic strategist Kelly Hyman, and Fox News political analyst Gianno Caldwell. Thanks to all three of you. Let's chew on this for a moment, because I'll ask you first, Gianno. Did it help that the White House, Psaki came out slamming Manchin's sudden and inexplicable reversal? The White House says Manchin went back on his word. Does any of this help, considering Nancy Pelosi said it herself? We are undeterred. We will get this done in the new year. I mean, how does that look like they're going to bring all these folks, including Joe Manchin, together in the new year to get this done?
That's a great question. And no, they're not helping themselves. And aren't these the same tactics that they said were unpresidential and used by Donald Trump? So while they're attacking, making things personal when it comes to policy that the entire country would need to embrace, and the entire country hasn't embraced Build Back Better. If you look at polling from earlier this month, actually, an NPR poll showed that 41% of Americans approved. Only 41% of Americans. 36% of independents approved, and 13% of Republicans. This was not a popular piece of legislation. Joe Manchin might have actually done them a favor, if you want to be honest about it, because the Democratic Party has been looking, per the American people, as an out-of-touch group of individuals. This was probably one of the most reasonable things that we've seen, and if they were really smart, they would sit with Joe Manchin and just follow his list, as he mentioned on Fox News Sunday. Bring up the biggest priorities and work on those.
Kelly, this is a lot of Democratic infighting that is being exposed to the public now. Manchin's made very clear where he has stood on this all along. But in the wake of this, it's the progressives that are coming out and they're torching him. I mean, Ilhan Omar, I think she referenced Manchin's excuses as BS. Bernie Sanders, he's got a lot of explaining to do. So there's a lot of Democratic infighting as we wrap a challenging year that is quite clearly being exposed.
Well, I think this is about the American people.
Kelly first, yeah.
Sorry. That's okay, no problem. Build Back Better is about the American people, and I would disagree that Americans do support Build Back Better. We have to look at fundamentally what is Build Back Better for. It's to help the American people. The people that have hearing aids under the Build Back Better plan, they'll be covered by Medicare. It's to help people, families first, people with children for child care credit, and to help people that take care of elderly people at home. And I think that that's key and that's important. It's not over yet. We have next year, and I do believe that it's going to happen. And it saddens me that no one from the GOP will support something that's going to help the American people.
But Kaylee, I would wonder whether or not you've seen this White House reach across the aisle to Republicans on this.
No, not at all. They just spend all their time blaming Republicans for hating the American public when the American public doesn't even support Build Back Better, as Juliana mentioned earlier. And if progressives want someone to blame, they shouldn't blame Joe Manchin, because this is not Joe Manchin's fault. This is Joe Biden's fault. He introduced a bill that was never going to pass the Senate in the first place. Manchin made that clear from the get-go and thought that he could become the next FDR with very slim majorities in both the House and the Senate. It was completely unrealistic from the beginning, and he is the only one to blame.
Absolutely.
Gianna?
I completely and totally agree with that. Joe Manchin has been consistent in this point of view, and let's be clear, to blame him, the Democratic Party blaming him wins them nothing. Just like blaming John McCain over Obamacare didn't win much of the GOP anything, because what the American people wanted was something to get done. And in this case, they're not getting anything done. And this is the president who said that he was going to be the statesman to get it done. He was going to work with Democrats and Republicans, and we've not seen that. So when I hear Build Back Better is popular, it's not. It's popular with Democrats, but Democrats don't run the country. There's more than Democrats here. So we got to be open to that. And Joe Manchin gave an opportunity to Democrats. They can either hear that or they can't. And at this point, they're just pushing back on them. And it doesn't
Kelly,
make a lot of sense to me.
There's going to be a tough conversation that's going to be had here, because we don't really know, because he didn't go into detail, Joe Manchin, what he meant when they put some things out there that are absolutely inexcusable. There's obviously some things, as Larry Kudlow was telling me a couple hours ago, there's some things that happened here that we don't quite know about. And we know that Joe Manchin could have been on board, but we just don't know why the White House didn't figure out a way to reach out to him. And now he's in a position where they're saying that the White House has retaliated against him. So how do you plan to win over someone that believes he's been retaliated against?
Well, I don't know if he's stated that he's been retaliated against, but I think that it's important for us to do what's important for the American people and to help the American people.
I'll give you his words. I'll give you his words. On the White House statement yesterday, which Jen Psaki tried to clarify today in the briefing, Joe Manchin said, basically, they retaliated. His words, I figured they would come back strong. The bottom line is, why would I have said earlier that I was asked about the statement the president put out, and they said, what about this statement? President was right here. Why would we delay it? Joe Manchin, go ahead.
Well, my thoughts are that it would be nice to have some people from the Republican side to support Build Back Better. As I stated before, it's helping the American people. We have to remember what it's for. It's for people that are working Americans, working hard Americans. It helps them. It helps them get hearing aids through Medicare. It also helps them with their health insurance as well, gives them credit for children. That's what it's about. It's about building back better and helping American people.
Okay.
And so it surprises me that not one GOP supports that.
Meanwhile, people are building back broke with hyperinflation. I mean, this is the point. If you cannot acknowledge reality, we are in a crisis in this country.
I am acknowledging reality. This is reality. We have no GOP that supports it.
What you're acknowledging,
reality.
what you are saying, you're giving Democratic talking points, and we've heard enough of that. I don't need to hear any Democratic talking points.
I'm telling you what the points are. I'm talking to you about reality, what it is, not what GOP
People can't hear you when you talk over Joe. But the problem was with Joe Manchin was
hyperinflation is one of them.
We're dealing with inflation we haven't seen in 4 decades, Kelly. So Joe Manchin was addressing the high cost of this plan, $1.5 trillion, the way the White House wants to tout it. The CBO had said otherwise, looking at more like $3 trillion over 10 years. So this obviously is not over. Nancy Pelosi says they're going to come back in the new year. We will see. Appreciate all 3 of you joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Be safe, stay healthy.
And thank you, you too. Back to the corner of Wall and Broad, and it was another sell-off today. Although the Dow did finish up well off its session lows, at one point down 700 points, finishing up down 433. Concerns about Omicron spreading, and the latest on what is going on with that. We'll be right back.